I've heard a lot of people say they're vegan and they've had a lot of series of problems. And they've, no energy and all sort of, the side effect of what they are putting into their food.
Technically, you could eat French fries, sugary candies, and drink soda and do all of that for 3 meals a day and yet be a staunch follower of veganism.
Oh, hi, our YouTube family. Hello, world. Welcome back to Familia Pablanu. I am the one and only Anu.
Yo soy Pablo, solamente Pablo.
And
right now we're just enjoying our lunch, finishing it up with a little bit of jackfruit and some pawpaw.
yeah, so we just wanted to take a few moments to talk to you guys about or clearing some misconception that you guys might have about us. So yeah.
Well, we kind of helped it along.
Right. But without further ado, let's begin.
Mama Africa, your children are home.
Now, first of all, let me say a big thank you to all our subscribers that's been liking, sharing, and subscribing. We say thank you so much. We appreciate you. And if you're new to our channel, welcome to Familia Pablanu. And what are you even waiting for? Have you clicked the subscribe button yet? Now, don't forget to click the bell button next to it so you get notifications whenever we post new videos. Thank you so much. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please don't skip ads. We appreciate it. Thank you.
So this has been something that when we first started up YouTube, we didn't know how to explain our lifestyle. And even the terms that were coming up, they were still a bit weird to us to use, including like SOS-Free and stuff like that. Now we use those terms a lot, but at the beginning we're like, I don't know if people are gonna know what we're talking about when we say whole foods, plant-based, like all that kind of stuff. Or if we say WHPB, whatever, maybe people won't know what we're saying. So we just put vegan. But
to get the algorithm for people who are searching for such to get to us, right?
Right, and plus it's something that people use a lot. They use vegan for like almost everything. You go to menus and stuff, they say like vegan.
If it has plant-based in it or any kind of plant-based, you call it vegan.
Exactly.
Right.
It basically means like animal-free product. So that's why we used it, because we thought people recognize that and understand that a lot easier. But this has been weighing on us a bit.
Well,
we're not actually
vegan.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess to clear things up, and to explain why we're saying this now, like a lot of these terms like whole foods, plant-based, SOS-free lifestyle, now it's becoming more in vogue. People are starting to understand what that means now. And so you probably won't see vegan a whole lot anymore in our stuff. But if you do, just know we're not trying to say we're vegan.
Right. As you can ask, like, why? Why did you say you're not vegan? Well, we'll tell you.
Well, it's not, like veganism isn't actually intrinsically healthy. It can
as a
be
diet,
quite, right? It can be quite unhealthy when it comes to nutrition, right? So like, for example, like veganism is a global lifestyle, right? It's your whole life.
Yeah.
I mean,
humanity type.
Right. It's like humanitarian towards animals, which is great. I mean, like for example, I think I even saw a lampshade once that was like vegan, meaning like it wasn't made in any way that harmed animals.
Right.
And of course there's like shampoo, right, that shouldn't be tested on animals, stuff like that.
Which makes sense. We shouldn't do that. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's very laudable. The issue is that when it comes to food, the focus isn't on nutrition, like what you should eat. Instead, it's on what you shouldn't eat. Kind of like how a lot of religions and things like that have like certain prohibitions.
There's a morality to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's what veganism is, right? It's morally wrong to be eating animals is the idea. Or anything from animals, right? It's like stealing eggs, all these sort of things. Honey, it's stealing from the animals and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so it doesn't really actually talk about nutrition. It doesn't talk about your health. Okay, yes, don't eat animals, but why is it? Is it because not just for the cruelty, which everyone should not be cruel to animals?
I mean, we both came from very meat-eating, the idea that animals are less than us type of cultures, So for us, what really attracted us was like you said, how it affected our bodies, learning about that. And then from there, we started gaining a lot more, maybe respect and
we realized that we don't need animal product to feel good, to live and thrive and do well and have good health. So we started seeing animals as like that would be a waste. Why would I want to kill this? You know, why would I want to eat this and eating a dead flesh into my body?
Right. And
I'm
we
like,
ended up
and
selling
then,
or giving away, you know, to good
right,
homes the different animals that we had, farm animals and stuff, because we're
right.
like,
Let them live.
we're
So
not
we
going to
kind
use
of,
this. Yeah.
right. So we kind of see, and then at that moment, after coming to realization, I am feeling good. I see this animal. I'm like, I see you. I see you. I see the life in you.
It's just seeing the life in them, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
respecting that,
Right.
especially the more research we did about, oh my gosh, they have the same hormones, they have a lot of the same feelings we have, they have a lot of and they're like,
And I feel pains
right.
and
And
all
we were
this
learning
stuff.
that for nutrition and saying like,
Right.
why is this dangerous? Like, why am I feeling this way when I eat meat or when I eat, you know, dairy products or eggs, whatever. And it's because they have the same stuff. They have a lot of the same genes that we have, and they're very similar to us.
Yeah, and when we were leaving animal product, and we realized that even tasting a tiny bit, accidentally tasting it, you taste the death in it. The heme, the animal heme. It's like when I accidentally cut my cheek or something, it's the same type of the taste of hemoglobin, irony taste. That's what it is. It's in animal as well. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is us. That is the same as us.
Yeah. It's like we're eating our cousins. So veganism again can be unhealthy because again, it's not defining. There's nothing about nutrition, right? It's just about a moral prohibition about certain types of foods, and not just foods, but everything, right? Like we said, global lifestyle.
Right.
So technically, you could eat French fries, sugary candies, and drink soda, and do all of that for 3 meals a day, and yet be a staunch follower of veganism.
And I've heard a lot of people say they're vegan and they've had a lot of series of problems. And they've, no energy, and all sort of, the side effect of what they are putting into their food. So basically, you take all this fresh food and you basically killed it. You squished its life. You killed it with oil. You killed it with sugar and salt. And you said you're gonna eat it and you think you'll feel okay. No, you'll still feel a lot of the inflammatory effect of those additives that you put into it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think all of you watching this have heard of vegetarians or vegans who got really sick, were really malnourished, and all
end up
this
having
kind of stuff.
cancer and all that
Right.
stuff.
Ended up getting cancer, all these kind of things, right? And then people will say, I'm never going to do that, right? I'm sticking with my meat. I'm sticking with this. I'm not going to become malnourished. But the thing is, it's because people will come at it from a moral perspective, right? Like a moral prohibition.
Right.
So I've heard people tell me, oh yeah, my child, who's like a teenager, decided to become vegetarian because she saw all the terrible stuff that was happening to these animals.
Right.
And so she, in her lunches at school, she had the option of like hamburger and fries. And she's like, well, I can't eat the hamburger, so I'll just eat the fries. So that's all she did. And of course, she became very malnourished.
Oof.
And that is not what we did at all. And that's not what we do, right? And there are those who say they're vegan, say they're vegetarian, but they don't know anything about nutrition. They're just saying, hey, I'm trying not to hurt animals, and these are the prohibitions that I have. Maybe I have more, maybe I have less, right, between vegan and vegetarian. But in our case, we came from it from, okay, what is causing us harm?
Right.
Exactly.
I call it foods that heal because we see what it does to our body. It heals, and as soon as we put it in, we heal like super machine. It's amazing what it does.
So, and the good thing about what we do, right, with whole foods, plant-based and stuff, and our journey, right, because it took years.
Yeah.
It took almost 2 years to kind of get where we are now. And who knows, we may make even more changes in the future, you know, in this way, that way, whatever. But the idea is that a little bit, like there's not any full head-on prohibition when you're looking at nutrition, right? So yes, there's that issue with animals and stuff, but many of us don't come from that perspective. Many of us think of animals as less, and we come from cultures like that. Okay, that's your starting point, right? And but if you focus on, okay, what is actually good for my body, and you're like, you know what, I can't just get rid of burgers. I can't just get rid of this. I don't know how to.
Right.
That's where even just adding, right, and slowly pushing out these other foods by adding more vegetables, more fruits, right? If you're like, I can't do without my Snickers at whatever time of day, well, pack fruits for yourself.
Yeah, fresh fruits. If you're feeling like, oh, I gotta have a Snicker, have an orange, have a banana, have an apple. By the time you're eating all this fruit, you'll forget about Snickers, and you feel you have all the nourishment. The headache will be gone. All that pains you're having will be gone. So that's the idea, you know.
And if you have like this overwhelming desire for, I don't know, French fries or something like that, if you tell yourself, okay, I will have French fries, but later, right now, I'm gonna eat a couple of boiled potatoes and an avocado, right? So there you've got your starches, you got the carbs that your body's craving, as well as the fats that maybe your body's craving as well,
Right.
but in a good packaged form that's safe for you and healthy for you.
Yeah.
And then see if you still want those fries after that. Maybe you won't. So it's not the idea of prohibitions, because prohibitions, anyone who's done a diet knows that diet's all about prohibition.
And it always fails.
Always fail. And it's because, and I heard a psychologist talking about this, and it said because of the prohibition itself. When you try to make demands on yourself like that, when your body's dependent on these things and craving these things, you're ultimately going to fail, and then you're going to feel morally whatever, reprehensible, and you're going to get even worse, and you're going to eat even more of that crap.
That's why we're saying vegan as a maybe diet is, and even other type of diets too, you know, they come short, and if it's not sustainable, if you're cutting things out or whatnot, you know, you're going to go lacking, you're going to go depriving your body of the nutrients it needs. And yeah,
I mean, it's definitely easier for those who don't start with the moral aspect. If they start with the nutrition, it's a little bit easier, because it gives yourself time to transition. But there are those who are immediately like, okay, I'm cutting out meat, animal products, like immediately, and they're able to manage it. But you have to really jump into the nutrition very quickly if you're going to do that. So if you're one of those who recently, you know, discovered, you know, the life in other beings and are like, I'm not going to eat anymore, or things that come from them, you know, that's great, but be very careful with your own nutrition and really do the research and really look into, okay, what things do I need? I don't want to end up
malnourished and lacking energy.
But if you're like, hey, animals, I don't know, but I just want to live longer, and I don't want to get diabetes, and I don't want to get heart attacks, and I'd rather be able to live to see my grandchildren, then yeah, definitely, bit by bit, don't stop. That's the biggest thing, don't stop. Even if it's just adding another vegetable to your meal every week, a new vegetable, adding it, and then you have more and more colors on your plate, more and more things grown from the ground. You're using more and more different types of grains. You know, maybe you've never heard of sorghum before, and you're like, I'm going to buy a bag of sorghum and see how this works. You know?
And millet is spelt, there's all the barley, there's oat, wheat, all of them.
All kinds of things, and you know, the more you start adding, the more variety you see in foods in the world. You're like, I didn't know these things existed. You know, that was how it was for us, for sure. If you see our vegan story, or I guess more like plant-based, now that you know, plant-based story, that's kind of how we got there as well. Oh, and just so you know, in the future, if you see what is it, WFPB SOS-Free. WFPB is Whole Foods Plant-Based.
SOS-Free.
And by whole foods, we mean like the whole thing, maybe chopped.
Boiled, maybe, you know.
Maybe a little bit ground, but like...
not processed, like oils.
Exactly.
Into salt, into sugar, no, none of those.
And not a whole lot of flours, things like that. Because I know when you see whole grain stuff, like in the US and stuff, it's not really whole grain. They've still taken a lot of stuff out of it. And it's ground, so it's like... Yeah, we were learning about that the other day too. It's still not good for you. It goes straight, can go straight into your bloodstream.
Well, that's all we have for you guys. That we just wanted to let you guys know that, so that we clear the air. So we can get back to eating our remaining of our fruits. Well, we'll see you in our next vlog.
Ciao.
Bye.
See you later.